Hey everybody, welcome back to the Race 5 Smokehouse and Grill. Today we are doing a fun experiment. We're taking a pork butt, we're gonna weigh it before and after it's done being smoked on the Weber Smokey Mountain, and we're gonna figure out percent yield. Let's go. One of the main questions I see flying around social media all the time is how much pork butt do I need to serve X amount of people? So we're gonna smoke this, weigh it before and at the end, find out how much we actually get and how much you should actually serve per person, so you can kind of figure out how much you're gonna need for your party. I got this pork butt from my local grocery store. It says it's 9.22 pounds, but I'm gonna weigh it here beforehand, see if we get something similar. So let's open this up and weigh it real quick. Zeroed out to take care of this pan weight so the pan weight doesn't get mixed up in our calculation. See if this is actually 9.2 pounds. Close enough, we're at 9.21 pounds, so that's our starting number. Now let's go ahead and season this up. So now with pork butts, I don't do anything fancy. These are pretty well trimmed. There's nothing that's gonna turn me off with this, so I leave this fat cap on. I don't score it, I don't do anything fancy except season it and get it on the smoker. So let's season it up real quick. Today we're using a couple of Heath Riles rubs. We're gonna first layer, hit it with some cherry rub from Heath Riles, and then we're gonna follow it up with some garlic jalapeno rub. This stuff is amazing on everything. So let's get this seasoned up. Come over the top with this stuff. Be sure to get into all the nooks and crannies of the hunk of meat. Big hunks of meat, they could take a lot of seasoning. There you have it, all seasoned up. Once you have it all seasoned up and ready to go, you're gonna let it sit for a few minutes. Let those rubs really set up. You don't wanna put this on the grill until this kind of looks wet to make sure that rubs are really gonna stick during the cook. So now we have the original weight. We have our pork butt rubbed up. Now let's go over to the grill and get that fired up so we can get this thing cooking. So we're doing this cook today on the Weber Smokey Mountain. Grill's amazing. You could cook all day basically on one load of charcoal, so it's gonna be a nice easy cook today. But let me show you how we got this set up. So we've got this stacked around with Jealous Devil lump charcoal, and we've got it scattered with some cherry wood. And to get this fired up, we're gonna hit it with a small chimney of coals. Right in the middle there. That's gonna start burning in the middle there, get some nice smoke going. Let's get the top back on here. So we are using the fire dial with this. Been doing a lot of cooks with the fire dial and without the fire dial. Basically direct heat cooks on the Weber Smokey Mountain. You can check out some of the videos here. But we are also gonna throw a water pan on top of this. We're putting a little bit of water in there to help regulate temperatures and also act as a drip pan. I no longer have the water pan for this smoker, so that's why I'm going this route. So let's get this all put back together. Close her down, and let's just let it come up to temperature. We're gonna shoot for that 250 to 275 range for this cook. That's where I normally cook, so that's gonna give me the most accurate depiction of what kind of yield I'm gonna get for this pork butt. So when it's up to temperature, we'll come back and put that pork butt on. Smoker's up to temp, we're in that 245 range, which is perfect. It's only gonna kind of grow a little bit from here, so it's time to get this pork butt on. Looking beautiful. Let's close her down. Now with these Webers, you want to get them open and closed as fast as possible. The more oxygen you allow into the grill, the hotter it's going to get, and we want to be able to maintain our temps without letting it get out of control. That's why you want to get in, get out. Now we put this pork butt on. It is fat side up. I always cook fat side up. Let me know in the comments below how you do it and why you prefer up or down. We're going to let that go for a few hours and we're going to come back and check on it. Now it's time to just let it roll. We're just over 4 hours in, about 4 hours and 15 minutes in. Haven't really looked inside of it. I want to keep that temp down. We've been steadily in between that 250 and 275 mark where we wanted it. Vents are about a quarter of the way open still, that's it. Let's go check this pork butt. We're gonna check for temp, look at the surface, see if we need to spritz it or anything, see if it's getting close to time to wrap. Let's go look. This is looking gorgeous. You see the fat cap starting to pull back a little bit, nice and tender. I like to keep that fat cap up because that juice is just going to keep rendering on top of there. And when at the end, when you go to pick it up, it doesn't stick to the grill. So let's go ahead and check for some temps. 157, 154, 159. close her back up. So we're in between that 154, 159 range in the pork butt. We're just gonna let this keep cooking for a few more hours before we go ahead and wrap it. That color is looking brilliant on there, so I'm really happy with the way this is going along right now. We're just gonna let it keep cooking. We're roughly another hour and a half in, and we're at about 6 hours total cook time at this point. Let's go take another look, do some more temps, and see if it's time to wrap. Now you can see that this bad boy is looking delicious. I haven't spritzed, haven't done anything. It's staying beautifully moist. Let's go ahead and temp it. And that's the perfect temp. We're in between 165 and 170. Time to wrap. So let's pull this off, throw it in a quick foil wrap. I have 2 sheets of foil here just in case anything breaks. We want to save as much of that liquid as possible. Wrapped up, let's get it back on the grill. At this point, I am going to add a temp probe right to the middle of it. That way we can monitor the internal temp of the pork as it cooks. Got the pork butt wrapped up, got it back on the grill. Now we're gonna let it finish off this way. We're looking to get somewhere around 200 degrees, somewhere between 195 and 205. We're gonna come back when our temperature gauge starts telling us we're in that range, and then we'll start probing for tenderness, and we'll show you what that looks like. We'll be back when we get up the temperature in about another 25, 35 degrees. We're about 8 hours of total cook time. The probe we have inside is reading about 202 degrees. Let's go check it with the instant read thermometer and check for tenderness. And if the tenderness is on point, we're gonna pull it off and rest it. So let's go check for tenderness. Just gonna go ahead and poke a couple holes in here. Going through like butter besides where I'm hitting the bone. Everywhere else, nice and butter. Yeah, that's reading 207. And that's right where we wanna be. So we're gonna put this in a pan and put it in our cooler. Let's grab that pan. Take this, give it a quick wrap in a towel into the cooler. And we're just gonna let it rest now. We want that temperature to come back down, and we want those juices to redistribute. When we come back, it's gonna be rested, should have all those juices redistributed, and then we are going to pull it and weigh it and see what kind of yield we actually got off of this pork butt. Okay, here we go. This has been resting for almost 2 hours in that Cambro cooler. Come down a little bit. We're gonna pull this and see what kind of weights we get out of it. And I'm gonna open this up, try to retain the juice in the foil, because I do add that back to my pork later. I'm just trying to get a meat weight here before I add any juice back or anything like that. So let's just open this up real quick and let's check the weights. This pork butt is looking great. We have a lot of this juice retained in here. I'm gonna try to pull this out and make as little of a mess as possible. I mean, this is falling apart already. You know it's good when the shoulder blade comes right out. Now this is all meat, and I'm gonna give it a quick shred here before I weigh it, just in case there's anything I don't like in there, any cartilage. This is another reason I like to keep that fat cap on, because when you shred it, it goes right back in there and keeps everything nice and moist. Okay, we have this all shredded. Let's get it onto the scale. I have this pan zeroed out, so I'm just gonna transfer it just so there's no switching of pans. Let's see what this weighs. That is all of the meat we have. Let's get this over in the middle here. 5.54 pounds. So now let's figure out the yield on that. To figure out the yield, you divide your final weight by your starting weight, multiply by 100, and that gives you your percent yield. That gives us 0.599. Multiply that by 100, and you're at 59.9%. So approximately 60% yield. So 60% yield on a smoked pork butt is typically what I'm around. So say you start with a 10-pound pork butt, you know, roughly 60% yield, that's gonna give you about 6 pounds. 6 pounds for half pound per serving, you're talking 12 people you could feed. So knowing your yields is great for planning parties or catering. Hope this was clear. Please feel free to ask any questions about the math or how I figured all this out. If you like what we did here, please give a thumbs up, hit that like, share, subscribe, follow me on social media, and we'll be talking to y'all soon. Thanks again, everybody. Peace.